So you've just finished one of your designs and now you want to share it with the world and put it out there to show to recruiters, to show to the design community, and you're not really sure how to display it in a nice way. Today's video is all about Behance and Dribbble pages and how you can create those nice fancy little backgrounds to professionally mock up your designs so that you can show it off to the world. Hey everybody, welcome back. As you know, my name's Karen and I am a UX designer. I worked through a career transition over the past year and have been working professionally for the past 4 months. Now, for today's video, I first wanted to thank Jules, who commented on one of my past videos and told me that she wanted some help with knowing how to post nice Dribbble and Behance mockups. So that is the inspo for today's video. Now, some disclaimers, I am by no means a pro at this yet, but I've gotten the hang of how to make it look nice without much effort. So I thought I would share with you guys how to make something like this look more like this in around 5-ish minutes, maybe 10 if you want to put a lot of energy into it, but it's not very necessary. Okay, let's get to it.
There are so many different ways that you could go with making up your mockups, but for me, I personally like to play around with mine, so I don't like this type of flat style that you might see here. Although it is really nice, it's not my preference. And so here's a look at my Dribbble page. It is a little all over the place, but it is meant to be that way because I like playing around with the backgrounds every time I have to post something. These are just from UI challenges and random assignments that I've done for myself. And as you can see, I sometimes have gradients, sometimes I make different shapes to put into the background. I'll bring in mock-up figures. I will create my own shapes. There's a good use of shadows underneath a lot of mine. Here I've got spheres, and then here I just use a random picture. So there's so many ways that you could go, and I am going to walk you through them as quickly as I can. Now, first things first, if you are curious how you can get these cool phone mockups, you just have to use plugins. So, you know, you're going to right click on Figma, click plugins, and then you could find plugins. And the one that I have used before is one called Clay Mockups 3D. It's not amazing. There have been some small issues that I've experienced, but for the most part, it gets the job done. You can rotate the screens, you could change the color of the phone, and they also have laptop models as well. Now, another way that you could showcase your phones is by simply rounding the corners of your frame, as I've done here. So this is something that you'll see on Dribbble as well. People just round the corners and it makes it look professional. It doesn't look like, you know, just a random frame on Figma. So all you have to do is click your frame and then round the corners to whatever you'd like. And there you have it. And then you just drag it into the frame that you're interested in posting or uploading. Okay, now for the different types of backgrounds. Yeah, if you're doing something very simple, like for my breadcrumbs challenge, I just wanted to make lots of breadcrumbs and I didn't want to actually put it into an interface. I just wanted to showcase my breadcrumbs. So I put them, you know, right in the center, and I simply added a color gradient. So if you're starting from scratch, you will click fill if it's not already there. You're going to click a color. I guess I'll just pick pink. And then what you're going to do is change it from solid to radial, and that'll make it more circular. And I would actually make these opposites. So let me just fix this here. And I'm going to make this like white. And that's an example of a very, very easy background that you could do. I did a similar thing here for my avatar challenge. The thing is, since I was just playing around and I made a bunch of avatars and I wasn't actually including it in my UI display, I thought, hey, I want to show this off to the world. I'm going to put it into my mockup as a background. And so I put them some in the foreground, you'll see here, and then some in the background. And if you put it in the foreground, it's good to add shadows onto them just so it looks more realistic. And that's what I did for that one. Very simple, very easy. It was just drag and drop, copy, paste, and then adding shadows with the effects button. Here I did another play on gradients, except instead of using the radial feature, you're going to use the linear feature. So let me just quickly show you here. So we had it on radial, and now we're going to change it to linear. What I'm going to do is move my placement of my colors. And then I'm going to change this to green or something. And if you want to add more colors, all you have to do is tap into the area and then select your color. Tap into another area and pick a different color. Now here I did a gradient as well. The thing I just wanted to emphasize is it's really good to have shadows underneath your phones and your laptops. It just makes it look more 3D and it's more dynamic. So that's a piece of advice I would give you. And if you're curious how to make shadows, it's very easy. So you're just going to take your circle tool. I'm going to draw a shape, and then I'm going to click. Usually what I like to do is I like to take my background color and then darken it so that it has the same tint. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to effects and you're going to put layer blur, and you're going to up this to however blurry you want it to be. And then you're going to put it underneath your phone and make sure that it's send to back so that your phone is in the front. The other thing I would advise is to just explore different plugins. I can't remember the names of the plugins that I used for the next two that I'm going to show you, so please forgive me for that, but I just wanted to expose you to the different options that you have for making your mockups look fun. So there is a plugin that allows you to manipulate the angle at which you see a frame or a picture, which is what I used here. And this one, there are lots of plugins where they have kind of these like clay looking 3D hands and pointers and shapes, and I would encourage you to look into those to see if you can include them in your mockups. I just don't have these plugins anymore and I can't remember what they're called, so sorry, but hopefully it gets you curious and you look into it yourself. Now, a really common technique for backgrounds is just the use of shapes and blurs. So here I have circles, and here I have a bunch of jagged shapes actually that are sitting right behind a blurred white background. So let me just quickly show you an example of how to do this. So I'm going to make this back to solid and white. So here I'm gonna just make a circle. I'm going to add a color, and then I'm going to add a layer blur, which is the same as how we made the shadows. And I'm gonna just up this to something. So this is an example of how you can make circles, and you just, honestly, you just duplicate them and make different sizes. Whoops. And of course it looks better if you can blend it nicely with the background. So like if I was gonna do this, maybe I would use this color and find something, I don't know, something like that, I guess. And then to make these more jagged shapes, honestly, I just used like the square tool. I double clicked on the shape, and then I just manipulated the corners. And then I added the blur like you saw before. Layer blur, let's go up to like 50 or something. I'm gonna add a color. Let's do this. I'm getting pizza vibes. And let's add some more. And then let's say, for instance, that this background was standing out a bit too much and I wanted it to be even more subtle, like I did here. I made a big rectangle, put it over top, made it white, change the opacity. Let's try 20%. That didn't really do that much, or 40. So there are so many different options and so many ways for you to be creative with this. Now for these, this is actually super fun and super easy. These are like spheres, and they're meant to look a little 3D-ish, but might not be too obvious here. But the way that you make these circles, it's a little different. So you just make a circle. You're gonna fill it in with a color. I'm gonna fill it with this. And then I'm gonna add an effect. So I'm gonna add an inner shadow. I'm gonna make it 4, 4, and then the blur as 8. And then for the color, put my ink dropper, tap it onto the center, and I'm gonna make it a little lighter. So I'm gonna click right here. Now I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna add another inner shadow, but now I'm gonna do the opposite. So I have -4, -4, and I'm gonna keep it at 8. I'm going to use my ink dropper again, put it in the center. Now I'm gonna choose a darker color right here. So now this looks a little bit more 3D and fun, and you can put it all over the page. You can add a shadow underneath, have fun with it. This one was super easy. I was making an icon for an icon challenge, and I simply just duplicated the icon, put it around the screen, changed the opacity. So opacity would be this guy right here, or you could also do what I did earlier, you know, put a frame on top, put a color, and then change the opacity to make it a little less obvious. So I think this one I actually had like a yellow color. So let me just show you. Like that. Right. And then here, this one's super easy if you just want to make something really quick and fun. Just get a picture from Unsplash. So I got like a picture here, and I think I had just typed in something like table. And I literally used this picture and I put my laptop frame right over top. Let me just show you. There.
I really hope these tips helped. Let me know how your designs go. Share links down below to your Dribbble pages, your Behance pages. I would love to look at. Feel free to creep on mine. Mine is linked down below too. And you all know the drill. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate all of your support. I will see you next time. Bye.